When Jake Muzzin's season started, I'm not sure anyone expected what was to come next. The 33-year-old suffered a neck injury back in October against the Arizona Coyotes, and since then we haven't heard anything about his health. That is, though, until today. From Leafs PR roster updates, defenseman Jake Muzzin is out indefinitely due to a cervical spine injury. His status will be re-evaluated in late February. Defenseman TJ Brodie has been placed on injured reserve oblique injury. Defenseman Matt Caldwell and forward Pontus Holmberg have been recalled from the Toronto Marlies. So there you have it. Muzzin will be out for the next 3 months with an injury. Now, this is an unfortunate loss for the Maple Leafs, a veteran defenseman who plays a heavy game that not many other Leafs defensemen can replicate right now. Yeah, it's a plus that the Maple Leafs will be able to use Muzzin's LTIR for some cap space, but at the other side as well, it's absolutely horrible that they lost this guy for what could be 3 months, the rest of the season, or possibly even the rest of his career. From Luke Fox, Dubas on Muzzin's injury. It's not something you want to really mess around with. So unless you know he's 100% sure that this recovery time is going to allow that to settle and not be an issue, we have to do what's right for his long-term health. With the type of injuries that Muzzin has suffered within the last year, you have to think of his long-term health. You have to think about how he'll live his life once he's retired from the NHL. And when asked if Dubas thinks Muzzin will return this season, he says, quote, "It's hard to predict." The positive out of all of this, though, is that Muzzin will remain with the team. He'll be working out with them as well, and he'll be resting up to see how his neck feels once February rolls around. There's obviously that glimmer of hope that Muzzin can return in February or possibly a little bit later, but at the time of right now, the focus should be on his health. The focus should be on what his life will look like after his hockey career is over, and that's what the Maple Leafs are putting to the forefront right now, and that's really great to see. In other practice news, here are the lines from Monday, similar to how they've been in the past few games, but Pontus Holmberg draws in at the 3C, while Timothy Liljegren and Rasmus Sandin reunite as a pairing. Dubas has said the plan is to see if the two of Sandin and Liljegren can step up with the absence of Jake Muzzin, and that'll be interesting to see. But also, like I said earlier in the video, TJ Brodie also missed practice today, and he has an oblique injury, and Kyle Dubas said it looks like he'll be out for 2 weeks. And in terms of Toronto's goaltending, Sheldon Keefe said that Matt Murray will return tomorrow and start against the Pittsburgh Penguins, a positive note to take away from today's news. Another positive note is that Joseph Woll will return to Marlies practice tomorrow after missing the beginning of the season. Dubas said that Woll, after his shoulder injury, also suffered an ankle injury, which was the reason behind his prolonged absence. Now, I'll have a Marlies video after Tuesday's practice with updates on Woll, when he might return, as well as some other tidbits about how players are doing throughout the beginning of the season. But in terms of the Maple Leafs, first and foremost, the hope is that Jake Muzzin returns to full health, whether that's on the ice or just off the ice is yet to be seen, but that will be the main thing over the next few months, is to see if he can return to NHL action. There'll be a lot of trade speculation throughout the next month or so stay tuned for that. But as well, the goaltending situation is going to get interesting. Samsonov is going to return soon, and with that being the case, Petruzzelli could find himself back in the Marlies. Källgren could even find himself back in the Marlies, and at that point, there'll be 3 goaltenders there, all with NHL contracts, and I'm interested to see what happens and where each of these goaltenders end up in 2 weeks' time.